Folks, welcome to the Contrarian Trader. It's been a couple of months since I did a video for the blog. I've been busy with the revamp of the new site that's coming out. Please keep checking in. Very, very soon, that site's going to be up. It's been a lot of work on my part, putting together tutorials in the back end, trying to set up an educational spot from where people can learn about contrarian trading, short-term and long-term trading. Not so much day trading. I still haven't really gotten involved with that. That's not my deal. But the new website is coming. It's going to look really, really good. A lot of work went into it, and I'm very excited about it. So let's get to the big news of the day. Today is Saturday, the 11th of August, and Paul Ryan is the VP choice for Mitt Romney. Now, I don't talk about politics with my members because some members are on the opposite side of the aisle than I am at, and which is fine. I love that. So I don't want to force my opinions, because I hate when actors do that, when they tell you their opinions about politics. However, when it comes down to the free blog, I want to espouse my opinions on these things because I do believe that politics matters. Remember that you have the federal government that has taken over the healthcare industry. In essence, has taken it over. They've taken over General Motors. There was once a saying in this country back in the 50s, 60s, when General Motors sneezes, the United States catches a cold. So just think about that. You have the federal government that owns a huge piece of General Motors. So it matters what's going on in Wall Street. And I don't like to deem myself a Republican or a Democrat. What I believe in is fiscal conservatism. That's it. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. It's none of my business. It should be none of anybody's business. What it comes down to is we as taxpayers, those who remain, you have half the country that doesn't pay taxes anymore. But absent that, for we the people, those who pay taxes, it comes down to what are you doing with our tax dollars? And let's face it, whether it be during the Bush administration or the Obama administration, it has been an abysmal record of stewardship of our tax dollars. And this has gone on for decades, and we just can't afford it anymore. So today, I open up, and I'm going to go into a bunch of charts of the stocks we're looking to trade in the coming weeks, so please bear with me. I open up today's IBD, which I have delivered every Saturday morning. It's my Bible. So IBD comes out, and I take a look at the first few headlines that catch my eye. The first is Japan raising VAT tax from 5% to 10%. So here's an economy, the third largest in the world behind the U.S. and China. Here's an economy that has been in the doldrums since the late 80s, early 90s. They have never fixed the ills of what to put them in that position, which is their banks. Yet now, after all these years, they're going to raise taxes. That's not just an Asia issue. Let's skip over the pond over to Europe. You have the new socialist president, Hollande, who he's going to raise the top marginal tax rate on the high income earners to 75%. Guess what? Here's the irony. Guess what they're looking to do? Those very few in France that make over 1.2 in dollar terms, $1.25 million per year. They're going to just press a button and switch their citizenship, as you're seeing here in the United States, over to Holland. There's the irony. You have the Prime Minister of France with the last name Holland with an E on the end, and you have the French soon-to-be expatriates taking their wealth with the press of a button over to Holland or wherever they choose to go. Also, France is going to do that. They make this announcement at the same time that their industrial production comes out flat. It flatlines. So rather than stimulate business to try to export more by lowering their costs, what they're going to do is punish those that create business. Does this sound familiar to what's going on in the United States? They're going to punish business and make problems even worse. I put up earlier Einstein's definition of insanity. This is insanity. This has all been tried before. And in the United States, you had the Philadelphia Fed come out last week, and they reduced U.S. GDP in the third and fourth quarter, calendar quarters, a good amount. So when you add that on top of what is about to hit, because there appears to be no backroom deals going on to try to avoid the fiscal cliff, come January 1st, you have Japan, the third largest economy. You have Europe, and you have the United States, that are all making the same mistakes that have been repeated throughout history, raising taxes during times of poor economic growth. And we're about to repeat it again. The United States did it in the 1930s. It's just simply incredible. But we're doing it again. I am not that pleased with Mitt Romney. I do like Paul Ryan. Romney's approval of Romney Care in Massachusetts, I find disturbing. However, I can rationalize it. That was a state law, not a federal law. So if you didn't like it, you can move to another state and still be a U.S. citizen. To escape Obamacare, you have to leave the country. I don't like that. That's an overreach. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the charts of the stocks that we both traded and will be looking to trade in the coming weeks. MCP, I touched upon this last week with my members, that we were looking to get long of MCP, which is a rare earth company. It was a high flyer a couple of years ago. Now it's just hated by everyone. And we got long here, I believe it was on Monday, and we rode the ride up, saw this top and tail here, and we got out. Did we get out at the top? No. But if you wait after this topping tail, and we still have yet to move higher above the 1320 level, if you wait after you see a topping tail like this, which implies you have sellers above. If you believe you're going to hold out for the last penny after a nice short covering rally like this, you're a sucker. And if you have your profits taken away from you, you deserve to have those profits taken away. We decided to take profits, move to the sideline, and we look for the next opportunity. So let's look at those next opportunities that we're looking at. Here's one, ESI. This is the educational sector, the for-profit educational sector, which is getting hammered to death right now. ESI, ITT Educational Services, we are currently long of. We haven't filled our entire position. There's a reason why. Although I believe that the RSI is very favorable, the stochastics somewhat favorable, I do believe that we're possibly going to get a pullback on the stock even further and possibly even break down below the 3246 level, which has acted as support. When you see a bottoming tail like this, it's a support level. You have buyers that are right here. I would like to see a retest, and in recent years, what you're seeing is less and less of double bottom formations, and this is all because of algorithmic trade. You see undercut double bottoms because what the computers sense are the stop loss orders right here, and they look to take them out. But the longs have gotten smarter as well, and they know that you need to keep your stop loss just below the 3246 level. Let those algorithmic traders try to dump out the remaining stop loss orders, and then they'll take it higher. That's what I'm hoping for at this point in time, and I'll send out an alert to members of when we add to the ESI position and get fully long of the stock. I still like it. I'm going to go into this in full detail with members of what I'm looking at on the intraday charts, which brings me to this conclusion, and I'll be going over that. I'm going to send out the week ahead commentary every Sunday. Goes out to members. It's a 35, 40-minute video, and we go over the stocks we're looking at for the coming week. Also, all the economic data that's set to be released and was released the prior week. We also take a look at the indices, all the charts, the transports, the financials, the semiconductors, the Dow Jones Industrials, just to name a few. Bond yields, treasury prices. We want to take a look at the whole gamut of how they are responding, not just on a daily basis because there's too much noise. We want to take a look at the daily, weekly, and sometimes monthly charts to get a feel for where is the macro economy heading. Where should we position ourselves short-term and long-term? So that's what we do on the week ahead commentary, which is released to members on Sundays. If you want to receive that video, please sign up for the 14-day free trial offer. It's free. If you don't like it, cancel it. Let's move on to our next chart. MPO. This is what I love about my members. My member, this is from fellow member Rob. I don't like to release the last names, of course, security level reasons. He asked me about my opinion on MPO, which is Midsates Petroleum Corp. Never heard of him before. This is why I love my members. And he brought this to our attention. This is a stock we're going to watch. And you could see, he sent me an email, what do you think about this, Bob? What do you think is going to happen? I like the fact that it's putting in a double bottom formation. Friday, this is a good pick, Rob. Friday's action was very good due to the fact that you saw a bottoming tail here. I like that. Good action on all your indices, the ultimate oscillator hooking up, making a new higher high. Stoke RSI, higher high. There is pretty much nothing about this chart that I don't like, with the exception of the fact that you have a little flattening out of the money flow on the stock, which gives me some pause. So what we're going to do, and I've got to be honest with you, I'm a little bit concerned about the slow stochastic. I'm going to go into that with more detail, probably go into the intraday charts with members tomorrow on the Week Ahead Commentary Members Edition. So Rob, stay tuned for that. It'll come out tomorrow. Next stock. This is one that came up on my screener. When stocks come up on my screener, it doesn't mean necessarily that they're definite trades for us. They just mean that they fit the technical criteria for us to begin looking at it. What I need to see is two things when it comes down to a long trade. A, what is the short interest? Is there a possibility of a short covering rally? If that answer is no, then I have to ask myself, is the stock valued enough where you're going to have value investors come in and scoop up shares, thus causing whatever shorts are there to cover, and create a rally in the stock, albeit it'll probably be a short-term rally. That's what we do. Look for short-term profits with a good risk-to-reward benefit. So SGNT is one of those stocks. I'm not all that impressed with the RSI. I put a lot of emphasis on the RSI in my screener. It just barely makes it onto my screener. Slow Stokes looking okay. I always like to see a double bottom like you saw here in the slow stochastics. Good candlestick action on Friday. Good bottoming tail. Volume is ridiculous. I don't like this volume. It's still way too high. Yes. Was there buying yesterday that adds to this? True, yes. We don't rationalize volume. The only thing I do is look that it was a down day and we had high down volume. That's all the rationale you need to put into this. So what we need to do tomorrow in the weekend commentary is take a look at the weekly charts. Why? It's because the daily charts do not show you where support is. This could have just been short covering rally on a Friday and you have all the Wall Streeters, they just want to head out to the Hamptons and play polo. And they're just covering their positions. That doesn't mean this is a bottom. Could it be a bottom? Yes. Could it be off of a long-term support level? Yes. I haven't looked yet. Based on this chart, would I get long of the stock on Monday? No. We need to do a little bit more research. And that's what I'm going to go into with members. Again, historical support, historical resistance. Short covering and valuation. That's what we want to look at. MACD histogram still in a firm downtrend. I don't like it. So this is not a stock for us right now. Can it be soon? Yes. So stay tuned. ALC, Assisted Living Concepts. This is the first time I'm taking a look at the stock. I like the RSI. Very, very far discounted. Good bottoming action on both Wednesday, Thursday. It appears to be good support at 720. Volume declined considerably. I think that what we can see here, based upon the ADX line and the MACD histogram, I don't put much stock in the fast line, the moving line of the MACD. With these stocks anyway, with the extreme oversold, extreme overbought stocks, I like to use the histograms because it shows the momentum of selling or buying. You could see that the momentum of selling is beginning to wane some, which is good. But again, we need to take a look at the intraday charts, historical support, and what's the driver to move this stock higher? Is it on a valuation basis so cheap that you're going to have funds moving in to scoop up shares, value funds, that is, to scoop up shares and put it away for the long term? Or do you have so many shorts in the stock that it's now an overcrowded trade and it'll move the stock 10%, 15% within 3 trading days, 4 trading days? That's the beauty of contrarian trading. But we don't know that answer yet. I'm going to be going into that with members tomorrow. Again, sign up for the 14-day free trial offer if you want to check it out. So that was ALC, Assisted Living Concepts. Next stock, Dolon Company. This is a financial. Very volatile of late. I've never heard of this stock, to be honest with you. The stock is trading at $4.28. You can tell with these topping tails here that you have resistance at 5. There was support at 4.65. But now you have to assume that if it rallies from this support level here at, say, 4.15, then it's the most you're going to have to benefit from the rally is that it may rally up to 4.65. That's not a good enough risk to reward on my part. So I would like to see this stock proceed a bit lower and then get involved with it. The RSI, just again, as with one of the previous stocks, SGNT, as with SGNT, it just barely makes it onto our screen of the oversold condition on a indicator level, meaning the RSI. So it just barely makes it there. So I'm expecting further lows on the stock. They did try to support it or bang it off of the 425 level. I don't know if that's going to hold. So we'll keep an eye on it. Volume did decline on Friday, which is good. That's bullish. ADX lines, this red line still appears like it wants to head north, which is not good. And looks like we're going to put in a firmer double bottom on the green line here to put in that double bottom, setting up for a possible rally. Again, we need to identify what is our catalyst. Is it short covering? Is it value investors looking at good valuations on the stock? You need to do that research, and that's critical. And that's what I go into. The next stock, VTNC, Vitron Corp. This stock has been getting hammered to death over the past couple of weeks, and it currently has an RSI of just shy of 17 when it comes down to what I'm looking at. But here's what I like. You have the negative divergences of the 50-day moving average taking out the 150-day and the 200-day moving average. That's in the rearview mirror. That's good. So we don't have to worry about that much. What I don't like is on Thursday, you had an attempted rally. You can see that there's stiff resistance at 425, which was previous support. That's a concern. So if I bought it on Monday, the best I could do is possibly buy it at $4 a share, maybe $3.99, and rally it up to 425 for a quarter point. You know what? That's just not in my, unless I'm going to buy a few thousand shares of the stock, it's not good enough for me. And it's not at the criteria that I like to go ahead and buy a few thousand shares. So I'm not going to do that at this point in time. I'm going to watch it, wait till it gets down to historical support, if in fact there is some historical support. And when there's not, I go into that with members as well. What happens if there's no historical support? I don't know that yet on VTNC. If there's not, what you want to do is you want to take a look at the candlesticks. Is there a huge bottoming tail, a key reversal, indicating that you have buyers below? That's your key. And you need to act on that action, the price action that usually occurs late in the day. So VTNC is a watch and wait. RSI does not thoroughly meet criteria yet. The slow Stokes are looking good. They're putting in that double bottom. Where do we close? On 401. Looks like it really fought the close of 401. It was down in the 3s, so I would be a bit surprised to see it come back down again. But we'll take a look at the intraday charts as well on the week ahead commentary. MACD is very, very mature, which is good when you have a stock that's oversold. You can see how many times it's attempted to go positive, failed, and now it's very mature. So I think that without looking at the short interest and the valuation, that the stock has a potential to move fairly well if we do get it at our price. OTT, what's the name of the stock? Otelco Incorporated. They're in the telecommunications business. What segment of it? I have no idea. It could be semis. Not sure what they do. And they were hammered to death. We're going to have to look into the news on this one because there was some good news here which caused it to trade sideways, possibly recover. This is probably an earnings report. And it just collapsed last Wednesday. So we're going to have to look into this one further. These are the stocks that came up on my list of stocks to take a look at. By no means am I advocating a purchase of the stock right now. It's rather concerning, especially when you have a stock that's below $5 and a PE of 76. That's a problem. Certainly not going to be value investors taking a look at this stock. Last stock is Tesoro Petroleum. This is one of the refiners, Valero being the other big player out there. And these stocks, after a huge correction, multi-year correction, I remember when these stocks were hot a few years ago, crack spreads between crude prices were great, and the sector just simply collapsed, which they're cyclical. And they've been on fire since June. Great double bottom formation here. This is beautiful. And unfortunately, I'm sure that they were heavily shorted. Again, I haven't looked, but I'm sure they were. It looks as though this stock is after a short covering rally of immense proportions and some accumulation. The reason why I could say there's some accumulation is take a look at these volume bars. Those are institutions that are buying. Of late, the stock has proceeded higher. However, the up volume has been declining, which is an indication that the rally is beginning to peter out. So we have a topping tail on Wednesday of last week. We never closed the week out at the highs of the week. We closed substantially off those highs with topping tails both on Thursday and Friday. Does that mean the stock can't go higher? We never believe that. Overbought stocks that are extreme overbought levels can proceed higher, which is why you need to have an accumulation program, whether it be long or short, in effect. If you try to short Tesoro, suppose your intent is to allocate X amount of dollars to short 1,000 shares of Tesoro. If you open up a short position on Monday of Tesoro based upon simply the fact that you have an RSI above 85 and topping tails, you're nuts. I have seen stocks with RSIs of 85, which is, yes, high. But if you have a high short interest, those shorts will look to get out out of desperation to get out at any price because they have been slaughtered. So if you decide that you want to open up a position of 1,000 shares, which is your intended position, you put yourself in a great deal of risk. What I like to do is open up small increments. Open up a position. I see the reason why to open up a position on Monday morning on Tesoro. But again, I haven't looked at the weekly historical resistance levels because this is a possible short, nor have I looked at the intraday internals because it could be setting up for an intraday breakout. I like to use a 30-minute and 15-minute charts. So again, I'll be going to all this with members on Sunday. I'll release the weekend commentary on Sunday. So what you need to do is have a incremental approach to opening a position. What I like to do is, because generally on the first buy or short, I'm wrong. If I short, the stock generally proceeds higher. So we might just open up a position on Monday morning, short. And it'll only be a short-term trade, though. And look to add to that position as we see the stock rally with perhaps volume declining or other reasons why we believe, like divergences on an intraday chart, we believe the stock is beginning to break down. And then we'll add and potentially double when we believe that the key reversal has been put in, meaning the stock shoots up higher at the open, reverses to close lower on the day or near the lows of the day. Close to what happened here last Wednesday. But it still closed somewhat up on the day. So although I believe this to be a bearish candlestick, this shadow here, or wick, they like to call it in the candlestick trading community, it's just not enough at this point because we are still rallying within the range of that wick. So whatever resistance there was here that resistance is being taken up by longs or shorts that are looking to cover positions. And if they break it out above 36.06, the stock could proceed higher, and you can have an RSI in the high 80s or low 90s easily. So we need to take a balanced approach. Patience, patience, patience. And that's it, folks. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email. Members, stay tuned for the week ahead commentary. And if you want to take advantage of the 14-day free trial offer, please sign up for the 14-day free trial offer. If not, sign up for my email list. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and that way you'll be alerted to future free commentary. And check in every once in a while. The new website's going up soon. Please check it out. It's going to be really cool. And that's it, folks. Enjoy the remainder of your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.